We're now going to get into some conversion problems that have liquid volume. So just bear with me here. So when we get to a couple of these, we're going to have some extra conversion. So this first one is that we have 1 cubic centimeter is 1 milliliter. Now a cubic centimeter, if you can think of like a sugar cube, right? It's a little cube, and it's a 1 centimeter on each side. Well, if we would take that solid piece, that solid sugar cube, and turn it to liquid, it would be 1 milliliter. So we can actually change something from solid to liquid using some of these conversions. So our soup can that we did in a different video, it's got a diameter of 8.8 centimeters, and it's 7.2 centimeters tall. So we're going to find the volume of the can. Now, when we do this, remember that volume is pi, which we're going to use 3.14, times radius squared times the height. I need that to be the height. Okay, so the radius is half the diameter. So if the diameter is 8.8, that means our radius is 4.4. So we have a volume of 3.14 times 4.4 squared times 7.2, which is actually a volume of 437.69 cubic centimeters. Now the question says, what is this in milliliters? Now the conversion is easy, but I'm going to write it out anyway. 437.69 cubic centimeters. By our conversion, 1 cubic centimeter is 1 milliliter. So that makes my cubic centimeter label cancel out. They're all 1, so they don't mean anything. So this problem is 437.69 milliliters. Right? Not bad. Part 2 says, how many liters is this? Okay, well, remember that to go from milliliters to liters, if you go to your sheet and think about, okay, I started milliliters to go to liters, I'm actually going to move left 3 places. So if I take my decimal point for my answer and I move it left 1, 2, 3, I'm going to have 0.43769 liters. And that would be the answer for part 2. Number 3. A rectangular aquarium measures 30 centimeters by 45 centimeters by 60 centimeters. Find the volume in liters. So this is actually the same thing that we just did, but now we're going to do the whole thing start to finish. So first I find the volume. Length times width times height. 30 times 45 times 60. I get 81,000 cubic centimeters. Well, I know that 1 cubic centimeter is 1 milliliter. So my centimeters cubes cancel out. This has a volume of 81,000 milliliters. To go from milliliters to liters, I actually am going to go left 3 places. 1, 2, 3. This is 81 liters. And that is how we can find the answer, right? You have to kind of take what you're given and then look at your conversion sheet and say, where can I go from here? I know to find volume, I multiply these together because it's rectangular. Once I have cubic centimeters, where can I go from that? And hopefully you notice 1 cubic centimeter is a milliliter. Well, once you're in milliliters, it's an easy conversion to liters. So don't worry about going immediately from here to here. Start with what you have, see where it takes you, because sometimes there's more than one step involved. All right, our next conversion here is that 1 cubic foot is 7.4805 gallons. So that's a cubic foot is 7.4805 gallons. So now I think of a footstool when I think of a cubic foot. It's a box that is a foot on each side, a foot by a foot by a foot. And if you have that and you fill it up with water, 7.4805 gallons. Okay? So we have a bathtub. A bathtub is 2 feet by 6 feet by 2 feet deep. How many gallons of water can you fill that up with? Well, cubic feet is volume, right? Anytime you have cubic, you have volume. So to find the volume, we take length times width times height. So 2 times 6 times 2, which is 24 cubic feet. So if I want to find how many gallons, well, I start with my 24 cubic feet. And I think, well, 1 cubic foot, because I got to go, up and down to be able to cancel out, is 7.4805 gallons. That makes my cubic feet cancel out. I multiply across, and this bathtub would hold 179.532 gallons of water. That's a lot of water. Imagine if you had to drink all that. You'd flood yourself. That's a lot of water. Number 5. Jane arrives home to find that her 40-foot by 32-foot basement has 18 inches of water in it. Jane, just sit down and cry. It's okay. It's okay. How many gallons of water will she be pumping out of her basement? Well, first off, hopefully you notice that we're in feet, inches. Not okay. So if you know that we have gallons, we know that gallons work with cubic feet. That's ugly. Cubic feet. So I need to change 18 inches to feet. So 18 inches, well, 12 inches is 1 foot. Makes my inches cancel out. This is the same as 1.5 feet. So to find my volume, 40 by 32 by 1.5. So Jane has 1,920 cubic feet of water in her basement. Now I feel her pain because I've had water in my crawl space and it's not fun. Okay, so now we know if she has 1920 cubic feet, and we know that 1 cubic foot is 7.4805 gallons, that makes my cubic feet go away. I multiply across. Jane, poor Jane, I just want to give her a hug. She's got 14,362.56 gallons of water in her basement. Think of how many bathtubs she could fill up, right, from our previous problems. That's a lot. All right, well, hey, speaking of all this water, you know, guys, water is heavy. 1 gallon of water weighs 8.33 pounds. 8.33 pounds. So, how much does a cubic foot of water weigh? And you're like, I don't know about cubic feet, I know about gallons. Well, don't forget that a cubic foot is 7.4805 gallons. So you start with a cubic foot and you say, okay, I know that a cubic foot is 7.4805 gallons, right? You got to go with what you know. This gets you out of cubic feet and gets you into gallons. And then we know from up here, gallons on top, so I'm going to put 1 gallon on the bottom, 8.33 pounds on the top. So that makes my gallons go away. And now I can take my 7.4805 times 8.33, and I end up with 62.31 pounds. So if you have a box that is a foot by foot by foot, and you fill it up with water, it's going to weigh roughly 62 pounds. Water is heavy. That's cray-cray. Cray-cray. And let's do one more problem here. How much does the water weigh in a round pool that has a 6-foot radius and is filled to a depth of 5 feet? Okay, so we're going back to a cylindrical shape here. 6-foot radius, 5 feet deep. The nice thing is these are both feet. So remember, volume of a cylindrical shape, pi r squared times the height. So we're going to take 3.14 times 6 squared times 5. 6 squared is the same as 6 times 6. So we find the volume of our pool to be 565.2 cubic feet. Now, we know that from cubic feet, 1 cubic foot is 7.4805 gallons. That gets me out of cubic feet. And then I know that 1 gallon is 8.33 pounds, right? Go one step at a time. What do you know? That makes my gallons go away. Multiply all those numbers, and this round pool would weigh 35,219.06 pounds. You know, in a 6-foot radius, that's a decent sized pool. It's not huge. It's only 5 feet deep. I can stand up all over that pool, but that weighs a lot of pounds. And that, I believe, is the end of that video, liquid conversions.